Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on Daybreak. So we're going to start the segment, of course, which is the newspaper review by taking a look at the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. The major story here is talking about 48 people, 50 cows killed in Niger road accident. Residents blame speed and bad road. You find this major story on page 4. Below there, of course, you'd see the pictorial of this scene of the accident near Monworo village along Bida Road in Niger State yesterday. A really horrific picture there by Abdullahi Umar. Beside the pictorial now we see 196 soldiers resign to proceed on terminal leave November 1st. Kidnapped Borno judge regains freedom after 2 months. That you find on page 6. Deaths by air pollution more than those of malaria and HIV. That's according to the Minister of Health. Away from that, we see we are owed about 30 months allowances. Border security personnel cry out. The cry over stay at stations. We are receiving the process or reviewing the process. That's according to custom. There's ad hoc arrangement over all of this, controversial topic you would find on page 33. Below the headmaster, we see OPay money points user kicks as federal government imposes electronic levy. The banks colluding with states to bypass fiscal law. That's according to the federal FRC. We spend 30,000 naira daily to feed our 9 new babies. That's according to the father of 9 babies at once. A really, sad situation there. I'm sure 30,000 is even done based on managing. All right, moving on from, the Daily Trust newspaper. We'll go to take a look at The Guardian, where major story is talking about back to school. Parents groan as fees and fares spiked by over 70% amid dropout concerns. Below there is some sort of pictorial of cartoon being drawn where there is school bus and then there is someone who seemed to be a parent holding their kids to that school bus, and inflation is weighing down on the shoulder of this parent and saying, you will have to endure this term. Inflation is forcing us to cut back on expenses. And the child is, does cutting back include spending less time in school? All right, we already know how these kids needs motivation, and it's telling them that we have to cut down extra on things that would motivate them. It's not really sitting well on the parents' part. Away from that pictorial, we see Atiku Huriwa flay Tinubu's plan to raise VAT, one of devastating consequences. Ajayi Edema Chide or Chide Aidatiwa rather over appointment of 344 SSAs amid economic hardship. A lot going on. Tanker explosion claims 48 lives and 50 cattle in Niger. POS operators insist on court ruling amid CAC threats. NAFDAC warns against the miracle products of faith-based organizations. Reverse petrol pump price, that's according to Sarab. APC chief tells Tinubu. Nigerians not enjoying benefits of more allocations to states. And NLC vows to tackle graft, physical indiscipline by politicians. These are the stories that you'd find on The Guardian today. The Punch newspaper quickly, top of the page. Strike ASU, government panel to meet on Wednesday. Group sues Lagos over $100 million Dangote land deal. 4 billion naira illegal arms, 10 charged with terrorism. Beside the headmaster, we see Obaseki's ego caused rift with Oshomale, that's according to the APC. Group urges Esan people to unite for Igodalo. Major stories about marketers plan petrol import as NNPCL and Dangote's talk drags. Petrol leaders or dealers to meet Dangote over pricing, uncertainty over NNPC's September 15th PMS lifting. Ipman laments as NNPC delays supply at depot, and pump price nears 1,250 naira in the state. Below that major story, of course, is a pictorial of what happened in Niger, where 48 passengers, 50 cows killed in a Niger tanker fire. Over 1,000 soldiers resigned from the army in 4 years. That's according to a report. Europe-bound cocaine consignment intercept in sanitary pad. I mean, these people just keep trying. Atiku's aid, LP, NNPP differ on merger plan. Now, these are some of the stories that you'd find on the Punch. Let's dissect this with our reviewer, our in-house reviewer, Mr. Daniel Menson, who would dissect these pages. Good morning. It's good to have you.
Good to have you too, Samaya.
All right. So let's go ahead and start with this disheartening situation that happened in Niger State, where the complaint is about residents blaming, of course, speed and also bad road. We've seen people going to, that axis saying you have to leave early in order to even get early just because of how bad the road is. What is your take on that?
It wasn't a surprise, because when you look at the situation of our roads, bad roads is one of the major causes of accidents apart from discipline. Most of our roads are bad. They are death traps, but our government keep on spending money every now and then, saying, look, we are spending billions or trillions of naira to fix this road. And even when they fix the road, it doesn't last up to 3-4 years. They started seeing the potholes again. And nobody will either call the contractors or even the government that awarded the contract to hold them responsible, because it is criminal and it's also scandalous for you to construct a road. And in less than 10 years, that road is back to square one. That is one of the reasons. But like we as people were talking, one of the other way is indiscipline. Many people are driving vehicles on the road, yet they are not drivers because they don't even know the road codes, talk more of even passing through driving school. So this thing that happened, it's just a wake-up call, but to me it's expected, because when things are not right, you expect the wrong things to happen.
A really sad situation there. I mean, speaking on the roads, we've seen a video, even though it was not done by a Nigerian, expressing how, most times if projects on roads are being given, there tends to be some incentive. Everyone is taking their own percentage, and it's different from the promises done, saying, okay, we're going to put a chunk load of money, and because of that, the money at the end of the day that the contractor tends to get is not going to be enough to give that road. I mean, speaking about corruption when it comes to, project assignments and all of that, do you have a take on it?
Yeah, that's why every Nigerian must take responsibility on every project that is situated in your area. For example, if the government said this 10-kilometer roads is about 10 billion or 50 billion naira, check and find out, does it the quality of job that is done on that road, does it really commiserate, or does it meet up with that amount that has been quoted or announced by the government? And then you find out that people who are experts in that particular localities, either residents or indigenous, should also become monitors, check the quality of the work, the kind of materials being used to construct that road. Does it meet with what was contracted out? If not, speak out. I think by then the government or the corrupt officials will sit up.
Yeah, it's really sad. Our heart goes to the families of the 48 people and, of course, the owners of these 50 cows, which your business has been hit really hard. Away from that, there is this concern about 30 months of allowances are owed. Now, this is by border security personnel crying out, and there seem to be a lot of, controversies and take on all of this. I had to just reflect back to, I was speaking, I think, over the weekend with a teacher, and this is a teacher of the FCT, so it's for the state, and there was this complaint of a lot of allowances, the 35% increment that the president said it was going to be to alleviate, the reaction or the fuel price hike and other things, a lot of percentages, but the FCT people are not receiving. And this now made me realize it's not just them. There are a lot of aspects that people are not really receiving. Border security, of course, is one people that secure our borders while we go to sleep really well. And definitely, it's not like we know that they're being paid all over the board to make them and their family more comfortable. And then right now, there's months of not paying them this amount. So what do you think is the problem? We seem to have a lot of, even the customers say, oh, we're going to look into it, as though there is no knowledge of that happening.
The problem is corruption, one, and then bad leadership. Corruption in the sense that every year a budget and money is allocated for these allowances, but it never gets to the people, for the beneficiaries. In fact, these security personnel, maybe they're just trying to crowd out of what is happening before, because if you look at it, if you check the army, the Air Force, those who are on special duties, they will tell you they don't even see the amount. And then some of these border security personnel and officers, some of them are just there because some of them because of corruption, too. Some of them because, when they are there, the money that people who are importing things into the country, just smugglers, they now connive to get some things from them. That is one. But when you talk of lack of payment of allowances, it's not just security personnel. Even the 70,000 minimum wage that the president promised, it's yet to be implemented. The 35,000 you are talking about, they only pay for some months. If you check almost all the ministries, nobody is benefiting from that. So
it breaks my heart. But then this same security border security has complaining. We all know how border security works. You'll be assigned there for a period of time, and then you swap with other group. So now these ones are saying they overstay in station. Is it, is that something to be concerned about not keeping to this?
It is something to be concerned, because first of all, it will actually, their productivity will be lowered, because they won't be able to perform as how they need to. Some of them, their families are far away, and then
of course they need at least to go back to their family
to meet them. So it doesn't just affect them, but it also affects the society, because when the family is not intact, you find out that there's a problem. And if you check, they don't even have barracks in those areas.
I get that. All right, away from, of course, security matters, let's talk about petrol. A major story of the Punch is saying marketers plan petrol import as NNPCL and Dangote talk drag. What do you think about this?
Insincerity.
From what part?
From the government. And now people will start suspecting Dangote too.
Of course.
Because you said as soon as this thing is going to, if you are giving crude, we're going to have petrol. But now you've been, even the few crude that has been given to you, we don't even know what happened. Does it mean that they didn't plan well? That means, was there no, they didn't plan well to say, okay, before we give you crude, this is how much I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay for a fuel of liter. So The whole thing is just house of confusion.
It's out of confusion, truly. If there is one thing we have noticed, and follow, was how Dangote has come out to cry foul, on all of this negotiation. But when Nigerians are so excited about this, it's taking us back again because this decision is not made, and now the marketers are saying we have to import again. So it's now confusing Nigerians as to the promise that the government is saying we are going to at least get you enough fuel. Because while the price of the fuel is much, it's still scarce in the market.
This NNPC and Dangote deal, I think there is something fishy that we don't know.
Yeah, but it's up to us to continue to poke until we find out.
Yes.
All right.
And Nigerians need to stand up, especially the CSOs.
Yeah.
The civil society organizations need to put an eye, and also the media too, to check what is going on.
All right, let's talk about back to school. Parents, of course, from last week, school resumed, but officially, I've seen a lot of, teachers and everyone prepared this week, today, Monday, to return back to school. And the parents are groaning as fees and even fares have spiked by over 70%. Amid the dropout concerns, already there is concern that some children would have to even leave school. What is your take on how one decision, which is our over-dependence on fuel, our lack of commitment when it comes to at least making decisions that would speed up and elevate the citizens' stress and life, and how it affects every other aspect, including the education system?
Let me tell you, Samaya, this time is a time for mourning period for parents. Mourning in a sense that every parent would like to have his child to have good education, but he cannot afford it, which is none of his fault. Not that he is not hardworking, not that he is not making efforts, but the system has failed him to make him feel secured. When I mean secured, I mean for him to have the basic needs, to make him feel as a Nigerian, to make him have the hope of tomorrow. But when you check, none of this thing is there. The government made promises, but all promises are all cancelled or failed.
All right, a really sad one. Quickly, I want to get your take on the China and, of course, African summit that happened. What do you think we should expect from this? Because already we know that Nigeria have signed about 5 agreements, and this agreement is not the first one. China has had a great relationship with Nigeria for the longest time. We saw during the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, he signed on the Mambila power plants, but then nothing happened. So what is your hope when it comes to this new agreement?
Well, to me, it's another talk shop. Why did I say so? Because right from the past up to now, each time the president is traveling, he will carry governors, or governors would follow him, and when they reach there, what happened? They will come back like that. Ideally, when you sign an agreement, there should be a kind of plan of action.
Yeah, from the next day.
From the next day. But you find out nothing happened. All that happened is just to take pictures, shake hands, and then you come back and then you blow grammar. And that is how the whole thing will end.
Yeah, but because should we be hopeful this is different? I mean, the previous one was done by President Buhari, former President Buhari, beg your pardon, but then this one is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is there hope that it could be different?
Well, the renewed hope has been hopeless. Why did I say so? All the agreement that President Tinubu have signed, which one has come to fruition? From other trips that he has made. Or have you heard any update? Have you seen Nigerians saying, okay, this is what this state visit that the president maybe traveled to this country, these are the benefits? None.
All right. For this one, though, we cannot judge until we see.
For us to see something now, then the government, after they come back, we should see a structure being put in place,
Yeah.
and then brief Nigerians on, maybe we sign an agreement on education. I'm just giving an example. This is the area, this is what we have done, this is what is expected from China,
All right,
and is expected from Nigeria. If it is an agreement
just
on
basically be
ICT,
transparent.
let us see it, not just
I get that.
talking and
I get
talking
that.
and
I'm
talking.
sure we'll get to have time to even dissect more of that. But then, yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for joining us to dissect this.
Thank you.
All right, due to time constraint, of course, we have to wrap up the show on Daybreak this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Stick with Trust TV. At the top of the hour, Emmanuel Fashemi would bring you 360 Sport. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Do have a lovely week.